What is
Hey,
up? How's it going today, Mr. Madison?
what is love? Baby,
Baby,
don't hurt me.
don't hurt me. Don't hurt
No
me.
more.
No more.
No more.
On
It's
that
a good
note,
day.
it's a good day. We got some fun planned today. We have two shows, one streamed.
Uh,
And we are going to be creating some content live together is the plan. Yeah, you want to lay out kind of a little bit of the vision, the process. I mean, ultimately we are looking at being able to leverage this with the referrals while you sleep method. We have been creating a webinar for you. We got that dialed. We sort of put a bow on that process. Got you dialed in. If we ever need to revisit it, we always can. But we thought it might be good for us to, eat some of our own dog food and create content, show people what that's like, and maybe show some of the process for how we then leverage that with referrals while you sleep. Right?
No, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. So, what we are, referrals while you sleep, what is cool about it is if you've got stuff that's already working, keep doing that. Yeah. Like you don't have to stop that. One of the problems that most systems have is, you pay your new coach, 2 grand a month,
Right.
and they give you a job for 20 hours a week. And so you have to stop what's currently working in order to try this new thing. And what's cool about referrals while you sleep is none of that's true. Like in
Right.
1 hour a week, you get your content that, like you keep doing what you're currently doing that's working.
Right.
Everyone's got an hour a week.
Right.
And then you get new business. It actually makes the other business better.
Right.
It automates your follow up. It increases your top of mind awareness, your trusted authority. It brings better clients to you so you can bring better transformation.
Right. Right.
And so, like, I mean, that's all like awesome, a no brainer. So, what's the bottleneck? One of the things we've realized is the bottleneck, no matter how great that is, it sucks for most people to create content.
Right. Right.
Uh, me too, right? Um, I mean, this what we're showing. We discovered because we're like we both need to create content. How are we going to do it?
Right.
And so that's how we came up with the duo video idea.
Right.
And so what we're going to be, in programming terms, we call it dog fooding it.
Right.
Um, we're eating our own dog food, which I don't know if do you know how that came about, that term?
I don't know how the term came about. I do. I mean, I know the meaning of it, but I don't know how it came about. How did it come about?
I think it was Alpo or dog food. When they created it, the owners actually fed it to their own dogs.
Oh,
So
right.
their dogs ate their own dog food. And so, one of the biggest red flags of marketers and coaches is when they are coaching or telling you to do marketing that they themselves don't do.
Right. Right.
And
It's not 100% of the time a problem, but it is an indicator of, well, if it works so great, why aren't you doing it? Right. And like there are
right,
some cases where I don't know, there's differences, but yeah, I like that whole concept. I teach people how to do virtual events, virtual workshops as a way to grow their business. And so if I am not putting in effort and tactics and strategies to leverage virtual events to grow my business, right? There's a disconnect there, right?
yeah.
Uh,
Do you
and,
really believe in it?
right. Which is why I'm in the process of putting together virtual events in order to grow my business, right? To
Right.
for one thing, because I do believe in it, but for another thing, um, because being able to be authentic to something is really powerful. And I mean, the whole story of referrals while you sleep is a big example of this. Is it really? the whole idea of eating your own dog food, honestly, it's where referrals while you sleep came from. It actually came out of, you were already doing this for yourself, and then you were trying to figure out how can I do this for other people. And so, one of the key things that you did ultimately figure out is this cool process that you initially built with referrals while you sleep became a million times more effective when you added in these duo videos, you added in this content. But there's a continual struggle of like, what do you say? How do you keep making the content? What does that look like? And you figured out not only through our work together, but with other people that you've worked with in this way as well, that the concept of duo videos really unlocks it. And I think, knowing that method tends to make it work for people, where instead of doing it by yourself, you're doing it with somebody else, and that conversation kind of creates a powerful dynamic. Creates some powerful opportunities for people to have a commitment to another person that they show up, rather than just needing to like find the time to create the content. It's like, no, we have the appointment, we create the content, we set it up to be easy for either of us, easy to do even when you're busy. You and I have created content where you're out for walks and and that sort of thing on the road. So it's really adaptable. That helps. But really, I think to me today, kind of the focus is, I think we've proven that for ourselves, of like just making a habit of creating content, by showing up together, by keeping it easy and kind of low expectations for each of us. It doesn't need to be perfect. Where, we show up and we create together. But part of what we both want to be doing more of is really leveraging, how can our content be bringing people along a path, really connecting them to, really this bigger vision of what we're doing. I've my recent shift into working with founders and virtual events, and then for you, there's some opportunity for referrals while you sleep to expand to to a bigger audience than you had previously been working with, right? So we have the need to create some content around that, right?
We do. Let's see.
Oh, we forgot to turn on music. Let me get music going.
Let's see. Oh, we did.
There we go.
So I'm getting a lot of new clients.
Good problem to have.
I know. And yeah, so one of the insights that we learned talking about bringing the clients along is, referrals while you sleep, like, it solved marketing for real estate agents.
Right.
The question was, and no one had done it this way, because real estate is very unique in that, in a lot of ways, it doesn't matter what you talk about.
Right.
There's no attention, interest, desire, action. There's no problem, agitate, solve. There's no, convincing someone.
Right.
There's no creating demand. It's, are you top of mind, interested, when the life event? It works great for that. The problem that I ran into was, how do I sell referrals while you sleep?
Right.
Because referrals while you sleep is like a normal business where you do have a customer journey.
Right.
You do have a top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel.
Right.
The opportunity, I can create demand. That's actually really awesome.
Right.
I can meet someone today and they can consume all of my content and buy tonight.
Right.
Or over time. There's this massive opportunity, and it's completely different in a lot of ways.
Right.
And so that's what that insight was like, oh, this is how we can use really referrals while you sleep for our businesses. And so that's what we're doing today. Really kind of for the first time ever, how to make this work for, dare I say, just about any business, including these that we're in.
Exactly. And so some of the things that referrals while you sleep already figured out, was this idea of continually staying in front of either the right people is a big part of referrals while you sleep, but even just your warmest people, you're most likely to convert, that sort of idea, right? In the real estate world, that's people that you already know, right? That's the people that are already in your sphere, and in a way that's true for this too. People who are already coming across you're already interacting with, so that's still an important segment, but potentially this could go a little bit wider. And so there's some opportunities there as well, that when we're applying the principles of good marketing to referrals while you sleep, we could go a little bit wider. And then the other thing is there is more of a clear journey we're taking people on from beginning to end for referrals while you sleep, and from what I'm doing with the Fusion Fellowship Reactor process, and how it helps people, who it helps, all of that. And so there's a lot more that we could do to where for referrals while you sleep, and for my process as well. There's an education process that lets somebody know that this is a good fit for them, and that it might be the next best, the next right thing. So that whole creating a demand concept is really powerful, and yet all the other pieces of like the content being in front of people continually, the content sort of just being there, being ever present, being top of mind at that time. Really, one of the core differences is that with referrals while you sleep for real estate, you didn't really need much of a call to action, right? Like right. It wasn't so much of a hey, do this thing in order to take the next step. It's kind of you're talking to people who already know you. They reach out when they're ready to right. move forward, right? But for us, people may or may not know us already a ton, and so getting them actually into a process is one of the shifts for more of your typical businesses. And yet, I don't think it actually needs to change the content a ton. It's mostly like the mechanics around the posting and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. With I think there is something to be said of this idea that we've talked about of having, we're kind of calling them short, long form trainings, right. And to be able to invite our audience to spend 15 to 30 minutes with us once a week to once a month. Right. And so like here, we're going to create the duo videos. I think also there's something to be said, even here, I think there's going to be a place for like me to remove myself from the screen and just right. you're talking to me, but it's right. just your face. Like I think yeah. with strangers, having a complete you talking head video makes more sense.
Right.
And then, one of the questions is, how can we efficiently create kind of short, long form videos that goes more in depth, lets our, helps our client in some specific way move forward right. with with another call to action, so that we can email our clients weekly or monthly
right.
with this. And that's really cool that we've got that opportunity, where in real estate, it's really on top of mind whenever a life event happens. Here,
right.
We can, or whenever you're like, we can speed up the process. In
right.
some ways, I think this is even more important for most other businesses.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really is powerful. It absolutely. So I'm excited. Where do you think that we should start in terms of diving in and getting to work creating the content? Now, we may or may not be able to create content today, but I think at least laying out this path of saying like let's dive in, I think is a good place to start. So what do you think?
Yeah. So for both of us, the foundation is the escape and the arrival.
Right.
And, you do this super in depth with your Fusion Fellowship Reactor.
Right.
We've got your escape, arrival, and all the steps in between. And in fact, if you guys want to know exactly how to run webinars, you should reach out, ask Zach for his book. It's right. 150, 160 pages of non-fluff, step-by-step, like exactly what you need, which is amazing.
Yep. I forget what the total page count ended up being, but yeah, story of my life. I started by just trying to provide a useful, powerful lead magnet, and it turned into a book. So, but
no pictures either. That's 160 words or pages of text.
right, right,
And so talk about what we're going to do. We're just going to talk kind of a little bit about that because we already have it. But talk a little bit about the escape, arrival, and then the steps in between. Because what our content's going to be, it's going to be one of the steps, or either a big part of it or small part of it. Either top of the funnel, it's going to be real basic. Bottom of the funnel, probably the long form, it's going to be more specific, in depth.
right.
But like you're more of an expert on the escape and the arrival than I am. I learned it really from you first.
Right.
Talk about that and like how that's the escape, arrival, and the steps are really our foundations.
Yeah. So essentially, the idea is, this only works if you have a process, right? Like you need a process that you take somebody through already. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be like 100% perfect. And quite honestly, you don't even necessarily have to do all the steps, right? But what you want to do is you want to envision where somebody is now, and then this overarching transformation of where they want to be, right? So the escape and arrival, the other is a term popularized by Frank Kern. The other way that I like to describe this is the pain and the promise, right? So what's the pain and the promise? So the pain is all of the things that somebody is currently experiencing that they don't like, the things that they don't want, their struggles. How's it holding them back? How does it make them feel? What are those core areas that they're like, I'm here and I don't want to be, right? What are they leaving? The other metaphor for this is if we look at like the Israelites or the Hebrews, this is their Egypt, right? The place that they're looking to get out of, right? What is that they're looking to escape to ultimately reach the promised land, right? Like where are they leaving? Where are they heading to? Okay. And so the arrival or the promise is all the things that they want to do. What will life look like after they solve all their problems? Who will they be? What will they have become? What do they do? What are they capable of now? What difference does that make in their life? Like what is life like on the other end? And then in between, you have the steps or the process. And the process is step by step by step. How do you systematically move somebody from their pain into the promise? Right? Where do they start? What's the first step in order to start that journey? Right? And the other way that, like, for sake of the metaphor, the way that I like to think about this is like, what's the desert along the way, right? Or we think about the Israelites leaving Egypt, then getting to the promised land. We have actually the process of leaving. We have the plagues and all of those things that were put onto Egypt and the Pharaoh there. Ultimately, you have like the crossing of the Red Sea. Then you have them in the desert, literally wandering for 40 years before they're even able to enter the promised land, and like all the struggles that happen along the way. So there's things that they have to navigate, that you have to navigate in order to ultimately end up in the final destination, right? And so what does that process look like? Step by step by step. And typically you're able to group those steps into powerful logical sequences where there's a logical order, there's a logical process that when you convey that process, it's easy for someone else to understand and sort of follow along with you. And when you lay that out, that's really like, that's your map to say your entire process. And then from there, you could zero in on any one of the steps or subsets of the steps in order to create powerful content that moves people forward, creates value, and ultimately speaks to the people that you're looking to serve.
Yeah. It makes me think of the people that I enjoy like giving a lot of money to. I've spent a lot of time with them, and they've pretty much told me what they do, the results they provide for their clients, And I'm like,
Right.
yes, I want that on a more personal, deeper level.
Right. Right.
And so, like, we're not hiding anything, we're not holding anything back.
Right.
We are literally giving people, according to their attention span, um, like bite-sized pieces to really say, if you've got this problem and you want this solution, here's one step you can take today to get you further along.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I love that.
And then, the offer is going to be, if you like this and you want more, do something. So at first it might be a lead magnet.
Right.
Then it might be, hey, come to my, my training this week. And what's cool, the training might just be, our short, long form here.
Right.
And at the end of that might be, hey, like there might not be an offer. It might be, hey, I've got a what we call a mid-ticket offer coming up in 3 weeks. It's not right now. If you want to get on the waiting list, let me know.
Right.
Or it might be, hey, my mid-ticket offer is here. So it's a way to be giving information because what I've learned from referrals while you sleep, there is peace, there is pleasure, there is profit in knowing that who I am, my energy is going out into the world, not willy-nilly,
Right.
but in a systematic, structured way, specifically as follow-up to
Right.
people that are already in my world.
Right. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So I would love so the two things we've got, we want to have some kind of interview where we get talking head videos of you.
Right.
I think we should probably do that today.
Okay.
And then in the upcoming weeks, I want to figure out how we can hack and create short, long-term videos really quickly. That's going to be, something that we'll have to figure out. We've got some templates, we've got some ideas. It might even be we take these talking head videos and do that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so what's cool about StreamYard, I think, how can we just show you?
So I think there we go. So if we do that, so that one's just you. Let me add a new scene, and this is a speaker view. I'm gonna show this one. I'm gonna make it so that I'm removing you, me adding me. Okay, so this one is me. Let's see how that looks. So that one's Zach. This one's gonna be Charlie. And I'm gonna add you back to the stage.
Oh, you took yourself off the stage. We don't want to do that.
No, but I did it on the wrong one. I'm gonna remove you for a second. Okay, so over on the left. Oop. Well, that's weird. Where's my video now? Can you hear me?
I can now.
I wonder why.
I think what you were doing was creating.
Oh, my something went wrong with my camera is what happened. So let me see if I can fix that real quick. All right, let's see. Is it gonna come back on? You can still hear me, right?
Yep.
There it goes. Okay, now I could throw my camera back on. There we go. Okay, so what I was doing was I was setting up different scenes on the left-hand side. So if you look at the scenes, you should be able to see this too, right? So we have C plus Z, we have Zach, we have Charlie. So if I click the show on stage for Zach, then it's just me on the on the stage. Although I don't know if we'll be able to hear you. Say something. I don't think I could hear you right now.
No, so that doesn't work. I think what we need is new layout. So I created some. Let's see if this works.
There we go.
That is, so you can still hear me.
Yep.
Oh, but both of them just have you.
So if we edit this one. Interesting. Okay, so this one's supposed to be me. This one's supposed to be you. Let's see if we can get this to function like we're looking for. Manage layouts. Okay. And then on this one, let me edit it. Let me see if I can get you on there. Add item. Camera slot. There's you. I'm gonna remove this one. Nope. Add item, camera slot, fit or fill, fit, fill. Okay, and then I wonder, is it based on the order? Let me see. Maybe this is part of what we need to do. Update layout. Okay, so I think that technically works. I think I have it set up.
Yeah. You did it.
The way that this one's technically working is that my video is still technically running behind you.
Yeah, okay.
By the way, your angle and your green screen is set up in a way where like the corner of it, you still see your office. There we go.
Looky there.
There we go.
Oh no! Now you realize it wasn't a real background.
Indeed. Okay, so yeah, now I think we can switch between these. There we go. Then if I do this one, then this one. Okay, so, and then there we go. Okay, so I think we need to rename them for them to be correct. Let me fix that. Rename Zach. Rename Charlie. All right. There we go. That should be correct. And I think the way that it technically works, I'm curious. I'm going to test something real quick. If I switch us like this and then go here. Yep. Okay. So the way that it's set up is whichever camera is technically set as number 1 on this view is going to be like essentially like this is the left view, right? Whoever's on the left. And then this is whoever's on the right. So we have them named like that because we typically set this up so that you're on the left and I'm on the right. If we ever are off of that, if it's not set up that way, then when we switch over, it won't be switched to the right spot. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Go ahead.
So let's make you front and center. Make you front and center. And I'm going to ask you some questions. And we'll go for, I don't know. I've got a bunch. We'll go for a while and then be like, all right, well, that's enough for today. You ready?
Perfect.
All right. So in Stream, in Zoom, I would actually just like stop record and hit record right now.
Right.
But my question is, how do we want to tell StreamYard that, hey, we're starting something new? And do we want to remove your banner there so that when we create clips, we can do something different?
So I think with how the recordings go, let's see what it looks like with it like this. Let's see what it looks like with it like this. Because for a lot of them, you're gonna cut in like this anyway.
Right.
But I'm wondering if you get the raw video, coming out of StreamYard. What do you normally get?
Oh, excuse me. So we can get either like the full, or we can get like individual recordings. So,
Okay.
and I think, I mean, this is going to be the first time that we've used StreamYard this way, or at least in a really long time.
So I like the idea of seeing what happens with less
Customizations.
with like if we set it up to run it just like this, let's see what happens.
All right, perfect.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so we're at 32:10. And all right, I'm gonna start asking you questions. So, Zach, what's your audience trying to get that they assume will be hard or expensive or painful?
Yeah, so what I find is that many founders think that what they're going to do is they're going to need to spend a lot of money to generate leads in order to then close those deals, right? And what I found is that when you actually have the right follow-up system where you're bringing people content and marketing that they actually find valuable, that you can save a lot of money in the process of building something that you generate a lead once and you could keep marketing to them over and over and over. So you don't have to generate as many leads. It doesn't have to be as expensive. It doesn't have to be as pricey. And further, when you create marketing that people actually want and you come at this from an abundance mindset where you see partnerships as an opportunity, partners coming together to create content together also can be drastically more cost effective in the process too. And so you get to create content that people actually want, that partners are coming along to help promote. And so you could grow and do this in a way that is just really powerful and doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg in terms of ad spend, where you have to make that back quickly for it to work. You can play the long game and be able to make that process play out over time. The other thing that founders really seem to think that they're going to have to do is they need to hound people relentlessly, following up for demos, following up for, is it time to get started? They think that they are potentially going to need to do these presentations or pitches where they need to sell hard, or they need to essentially they feel like they need a shower after doing the process. And what I found is that when you actually run a process where you're leading with value, but doing it in a way that still naturally creates the gap of the demand for your software, for your SaaS, for your product, you could do this in a way that you actually feel good about. You feel good about inviting people to the content. You feel good about bringing people into that world. You know that everyone who leaves that webinar, that virtual event, that summit is going to walk away from it with something powerful and valuable that will help them regardless. And yet for those right people that are the perfect fit for what you're doing and it's that right time, they're going to start to see that gap. They're going to start to see that need and that demand for exactly what you do and exactly how you can help them.
Perfect. And so what's something that you've helped people achieve more easily than they expected?
So the thing that I would say I've helped somebody, let me think. So founders are often surprised by how readily their expertise and maybe even the things that they don't even realize that they're great at are exactly the things that people want to hear more about. And so they think that coming up with something powerful, interesting, and compelling is going to take coming up with something brand new or something that they've never done before. But most often what it really looks like is it looks like, what are you already doing that's successful? What are you already doing that's getting results? And then just documenting it, making it clear and plain for people to see what's already worked, sharing that story, revealing what's already worked, and then taking people through that process so that they could see the same impact that you've already been able to make. This sometimes looks like things that feel like everyday processes, run-of-the-mill things that you never would have considered are unique or powerful. And a lot of that is because what feels like play to you feels like work for others. And so this process that, you know, for you has become easy and commonplace because you're an expert in what you do. It's actually really difficult for other people who don't already have your awareness. And so when you could bring them into the awareness of literally what you're already doing that's working, that tends to be the most powerful way to stand out, to lead with value, to bring content that people are going to find really impactful, and yet still builds your authority, builds your trust, and builds your influence. And so I think people think it's going to be a lot harder than it is. Really, the answer is in boiling down what's worked. But therein also lies the challenge, because stepping outside of yourself to gain clarity on what aspects of your process are unique, are compelling, it typically takes an outsider's point of view to really be able to see that, to be able to see what's common versus what's compelling, what is tactically helpful. And that's a big part of what I help people do. So it's both easier than they'd expect because we aren't having to come up with new things. We're just actually flowing through what they already do. But it's harder in the sense of it's harder to have self-awareness and clarity. It's really hard to see, read the label of the bottle from inside the bottle. Whereas it's really easy for somebody like me, an outside advisor, to come in and say, man, here's what's powerful about what you're doing. And then once they see it, it's like, well, no, duh, that feels so obvious now. But in the process, you feel like it's going to take more work, or it's going to be more difficult than it actually is when you implement
it. That was great. What's one win that a client had without doing something they assumed was like necessary?
Yeah, so one of my clients just recently had their biggest single day of generating leads than they had ever done before. And this is a client that has previously generated many of their leads through paid ads and paid advertisement. And so we ran a paid campaign to promote their virtual event. And yet most of the leads actually came from partnership. They came from us finding the right people who had alignment, non-competing partners coming together and promoting together. That we often think, hey, the way that we're gonna do this is by leveraging paid ads in order to get in front of an audience. And yet, more often than not, leveraging relationships, leveraging partnerships, leveraging those non-competing businesses that serve the same audience is actually a more powerful way to get your most powerful results. And it's fun because you get to work with people that you enjoy working with regardless. You get to serve your market with valuable content, and you end up having some of your biggest lead generating days that you've ever thought possible. So, yeah.
And what's a lie or half truth that you see repeated in your industry towards SaaS founders?
A lie or a half truth? I'm not sure. This is one that I haven't thought about a ton. I do think about myths and misconceptions. I haven't actually documented a ton on this. I'd say probably one of the biggest lies or half truths that I see in really the marketing space in general is that you have to be so focused on what you get that you lose sight of what you're bringing to the market, of the value that you're bringing, that you have to hold something back, that you have to that you just have to badger people to convince them to buy your product. But really, when you do this right, people will naturally see that your product is the ideal fit, the ideal outcome for them, just by leading them with the process, with education, with value that helps them along the way in the process of building out what you're doing. And so you could do marketing that doesn't make you feel slimy, that doesn't make you feel like you have to sacrifice your values, like you have to, trick people, or that you have to, deploy false scarcity and all sorts of things that people have discovered are tricks that can work, but they're the short-term game. They're playing the finite game rather than the infinite game, and they tend to cause your process to become harder in the long run rather than easier, and then the difficulties compound. And so the half-truth is, man, when you focus first on serving and understand that the results that you need come from that when placed in alignment and in the right strategic strategic order, you really can have your cake and eat it too, where you get to do good while doing well.
That's awesome. I like the little Naval quote in there: "Work to others, play to you." And so what's one thing that most people get wrong about your method or your approach?
One of the biggest struggles that I see in the founders that I'm working with is that they are so close to their business, so close to their product, so close to their process, that they're optimizing for what makes the most sense in their business, but may not make the most sense in their webinar or workshop itself, right? So let me give you an example. When you're optimizing for your business, there's a really powerful idea of being able to simplify processes, to be able to say, how can I make one process do drastically more? Or how can I simplify frameworks so that I understand this process could just be applied into multiple different facets? And when it comes to doing workshops or webinars, it can actually be really useful to break those down into individual components, to be able to say, I'm going to teach this thing, and it's the same process that I do, but I do it 10 slightly different ways when I'm serving 10 slightly different audiences. And by leveraging and breaking that out, like what you think you're trying to do is put together a webinar that's going to just give people all sorts of value because it applies to all sorts of things. But really what it does is it confuses them. So instead, what you do is you simplify it. And you say, let me give you a clear step-by-step approach so that you walk away from it feeling like, I know how to take action. I know what to do. And it clearly introduces me to the next problem that I'm going to encounter. They walk away feeling like they got the value. They walk away feeling like they got clarity. And it was actually 10 times easier for you because you discover one powerful concept that could be talked about in 10 different ways. Making it a whole lot easier to have event-based marketing that you could keep inviting people to. And yet it doesn't take as much creative lift on your front in order to create those same concepts.
What's important about having a bunch of different ways
you are muted. Are you intended to be muted? Or at least your audio's not coming through.
Nope, I am not.
Yeah, audio's still not coming through. I see your mouth moving, but your mic isn't picking up on the thing.
Can you hear me now?
The three dots are not registering like they are on mine.
Nope.
You might need to refresh or whatever we do, whatever crisp. So Charlie will be back in just a second. I'm going to go back to this view so that when Charlie comes back in, we can make sure that he's in the right spot. There we go.
Can you hear me?
You there? Say something again.
1 2 1 2.
Okay, it might be me now because I see the thing popping up, but it
Check 1 2 1 2.
Not before. It might be me now. Let's see. Try again.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Perfect.
Awesome. So
all right, I got you on. Do we want to go back to me like this?
Nope, I think that's good. So that was 5 out of the first 30 questions that I have.
Perfect. Do you want to throw those questions into WhatsApp for me, so I have those pulled up and I'm going to ask them of you?
Yes. And so I'm curious, we've never done that before, just, as we're rolling. How is that different than what we've done in the past?
Yeah, so what we've done in the past has largely, so like, here's where I think that fits and that makes sense. That makes for really good fodder for clips, right? Because they're clear, they're targeted. It's when you're looking to create the stuff that you can just clip out and have good segments to be able to do, that strategy works great for that. There's a lot of benefits. There's a few downsides. So the benefits are you could create the content that you need really quickly, right? So within those, you're going to be able to get multiple clips, all related to topics that are gonna matter, which helps to take care of that top of funnel and some level of that nurture pretty well. The thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't create the full loop of creating value while also introducing the gap that creates the sale, right? And so what's nice about them is it's easy to do off the cuff, right? It's easy, when you know your escape and arrival and you know what you're helping people with, and you actually are helping people through this process. It's kind of easy to answer those questions. So it makes that portion easy. The potential downside is that we still need to create like the 15 to 30 minute training segments that would be more of that complete journey from like opening somebody's interest and ultimately bringing them through to an offer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think the ideal dream outcome to me is that we figure out what we could do where creating the 15 to 30 minute process
does both.
Yeah. And it's a different beast though. It's a different, because you have to think through like, what is the thing that I'm going to teach, and still potentially answering some of these questions. So like, I think the process looks different.
Yeah. And I like, I've got my little template of questions. I mean, really, with the short long form, we're trying to take, like when someone works with you, they get, 30 in-depth webinars possibly, like they get a year or two worth of deep training content. What we're wanting to do, and it also, it does take time, right? It takes probably still, 8 hours,
right?
A good estimate, right? And so what we're trying to do is how do we create, how do we shrink that down into an hour, right? Where 30 minutes to create it, 30 minutes to record it, or something like that. And that's what we're going to figure out so that we can do both.
Right.
And one of my insights with what we just did is that it's great top of the funnel, because what's cool about what we're doing that doesn't work with real estate, and real estate, like the social media companies, they want to take our content and distribute it to strangers to get signals to see who to spread it out more, because most people are on social media to meet strangers. In real estate, it's completely different. So that's why, we hacked it, that's why we have to do it the way we do it. So like, I don't want you to send me to other people looking to buy now. I just want to be in front of my tribe. What's cool about what we're doing here is we're actually leveraging it the way it's supposed to be. These little shorts get us distribution, and then once someone watches it, then we can use referrals while you sleep to retarget them on the back end, and then get them to, and so, Frank's thing is, you create this type of content. Maybe you create like one really boring but specific piece of content. And then if someone watches all of that, then you retarget them, which, is going to be kind of down the road.
Right.
And so yeah, what you said makes sense there.
Yep. And part of what I like about it though is like what'll be it'll be a fun and interesting experiment to run to see can we figure out that path where essentially creating one creates both. And we may not be able to. I mean, even in some of the stuff that you're going through, they seem to separate it, right? Like the content that you're creating that's more of the top of the funnel is created in kind of a different flow, a different way from the content that's more of your long form stuff. And that makes sense. Yeah. There's aspects of it though that like I think here's my working theory. I think if we create the more long form, that it may not be that we're able to just extract the clips from it, but that plus like a tool like these questions could potentially be the quick route to make the content that naturally aligns to the more long form, right? Yeah. Whereas like in just answering the questions, I'm kind of answering from like the what's top of mind, but like I might be able to be a little bit more strategic about it and say, well, like specifically when it comes to say like the first phase of the Fusion Fellowship, reactor process is the scanner, right? So like finding who are the right people, right? Finding what are the right topics. And so like there's a whole process just to that. And there might be, like I could pretty readily do a training on subsets of that process. And then if that training is created, then creating answers to these questions alongside that might be easier. Where like I could get like a not necessarily a script, but like we have these questions plus we have kind of the input of that long form, and then it might have like a few of the bullet points to cover that you might want to cover on a short form answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I kind of like duo videos are the gateway drug to being able to create solo content for a lot of people, because there is this thing like once we get more of this content, once we got stories, then we can take what you've said, feed it into referrals while you sleep back in that says, hey, give me a 60-second script,
right?
Using the yay without boo or the I'm pissed off and not going to take it anymore template,
right?
Take it's back to school and this idea is like give me a script that combines both of it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can do some level of the news jacking, but make it relevant to your stuff. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and when people meet in our community, now they got a place to show up, so it gets done. And still, I found for me, even like when I know you're on the camera, it's easier for me to answer these questions or say these scripts than me just holding the camera.
Right. Well, and like part of it legitimately is like knowing, like you can talk something out for a second. You can ask the person, can you say that a different way? Like it is like there's.
Can you take your shirt off?
Stop looking at me that way.
Can I take my shirt off?
Boom roasted. But yeah, like there's an element of that. There's also like literally for me, like I have figured out the only way that I get anything done reliably is with an appointment with another person. And if it's not with another person, it can happen and it does happen sometimes, but I've figured out for me, no matter how much I've tried, as of yet, I haven't figured out a way to consistently and reliably get done what I need without that. And I think there's a lot of people that are that way too, right? Yeah. I know you've expressed this of like you and I both know what to do, right? Like we have endless frameworks, we have endless processes. We know the actions to take in most cases that would help us get the results that we want to. And yet it's still like only take the action if I'm on a meeting with somebody and we're doing it together, right? And like
Right.
you've expressed the same thing. It's part
100%.
of it's part of why Get Shipped Done is what it is because like we just wanted to live stream this process that we have to do anyway. But yeah, and so what I love about what you're creating with the community that you're developing out is creating a space for other people to find people who are already in alignment with that, where they're like,
right.
I need to create content. I need it to be with another person. Let me have a meeting that's on the calendar that I know, even if I don't have another person, I know that there's at least this meeting I could show up for, and we can move forward, right?
Right.
Progress, even if it's not perfect, right? And yet through that process, you could still find your person that you might just do it like we're doing it, right? Where you and I have been creating content together in this way. And how long has it been? Is it 2 or 3 years?
It's, I think 2, for sure.
Yeah. And like, I don't know about you, but for me, it is my longest running actually creating content, right?
Yeah.
Anytime that I've done like something with another person, that's what creates the longest lasting, like getting something done, right? Moving forward. So yeah.
And I mean, we were talking earlier today. It's amazing how much our business helps each other.
Right.
We found this real, it's pretty amazing. Like we were friends. Now we literally help each other's business. We're getting paid to help each other, and it's pretty amazing.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. And part of it is that we've both made shifts kind of at a similar time in similar ways. When we first started doing content together, I had Referrals While You Sleep. Not Referrals While You Sleep, Real Estate Growth Hackers. Your Referrals While You Sleep. I had Real Estate Growth Hackers, and so my audience was largely geared toward the real estate industry, and Referrals While You Sleep is a very natural alignment to that with how you have been focused on lenders and realtors. But now that you're seeing, okay, here's what it looks like to apply this into a scenario that isn't real estate. What does it look like to do that? And I'm going after an audience that I'm not trying to own the how do you dominate social? How do you create that sort of content? And yet everything that I'm doing creates the heart and the core that really makes everything that you do 10 times easier, because you have content to go off of, and then further ways to help people take action and make it go further. So yeah, it really works well together, and it's been really clarified. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And do you have to leave? Let's see. We got time. So you want to ask me some questions?
I do. Let me put you on the screen. There we go.
All right. I am going to I'm going to take off my banner.
Perfect. Here, it's under here, under media assets. We could take that off, and then we could take where it's not the banner, it's under the style. Show display name, show headlines. There we go. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, perfect.
There you go. Okay. I'm just gonna go through the same questions.
Wait, hey, hold on one second. Let me see something. I don't think this is going to work, but I just want to try it.
What do you want to have happen? I might be able to help.
I was seeing if there was a way to just center that. But I don't think it would work the way I wanted anyway. So I was just looking at it. So I'm going to turn that off.
No worries.
All right, I'm ready.
Show display. It was right recording. I was just looking to see if there's something else under the presets. It's possible we can like create a theme or create something maybe. Anyway, okay. What is your audience trying to get that they assume will be hard, expensive, or painful?
They're trying to get new clients. They're trying to get profitability, consistent clients without, having to hire a big sales team or without having to be on calls all day with tire kickers or people that are, going to waste their time. They've probably done that before. They've probably tried, networking and it works some. They've probably, they're successful in some ways. Like a lot of people would look at them and be like, man, you're living your best life. But they look at themselves, they're like, I've got an amazing solution. So many people need to do it. I want to serve the person without spending all my time just in sales and marketing. Like I want to serve my people. And so they're trying to figure out, how do I get more consistent sales without having to have another full-time job or have to hire 3 other salespeople or like how can I grow my business without another 40-hour-a-week job? And how do I actually do marketing that doesn't just fill my funnel with leads that I'm supposed to respond to in 3 seconds and chase and chase and chase. And I get on a call with them and they're more annoyed than they are happy. They're like, I finally got on your call, jump monkey, I want the people that need my solution, and there's a bunch of them. I want them to know about me and come find me. And I want us to have a relationship where I can do a diagnostic and ask them questions. And I can really be picky. I can tell them the truth. I can help you. Here's your next step. Or here's my suggestion. They're like, yes, let's do it. Not even caring about the cost. Or I can say, I'm not the best fit for you, but my friend Zach is. Or, this is what you need to do. I love it when I can serve people that have an open heart. And I've just got plenty of people. I know that if I go on vacation, I come back, my business is still running and growing. That I'm able to help people that need my help without me having to jump through all their hoops.
I love that. One thing that I did, I don't know if this is useful for you or not, or if it's too much, if it breaks the process too much. It can be useful, I think, to restate who the people are that you're helping, right? So founders, does that make sense? So even though in the question you responded exactly the way that would make sense to answer the question, restating who the people are, I think could be helpful for how the clip would actually come through. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I don't know how to state them yet, because this is I kind of view you've got the realtor waiting list, you got the real estate, and then you've got referrals while you sleep, which can serve any business. And
right.
I don't know how to frame them, but that's the questions that I'm answering for. Referrals while you sleep for any business.
Maybe you say it that way. So just as a for instance for question 1. So what is your audience trying to get that they assume will be hard, expensive, or painful? When you're growing your business, you think that it's going to be hard to do this, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not it's restating the audience, but in not directly, right? Like I said, founders, but I think you could speak to when you're growing your business, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that.
All right, cool. Okay, question 2. What's something you've helped people achieve more easily than they expected?
Man, I've helped entrepreneurs and business owners get their life back, and they were shocked at how simple it was. I was talking to Stacy the other day, and she went from literally her daughter was trying on wedding dresses, and she was sitting in a chair on the computer working, to now she lives in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. She goes for a walk on the beach every day. And she actually at the wedding was able to put her phone and have a message that say, "Hey, I am at my daughter's wedding for a few days, having a great time. If you need me, you can if you need something urgent, you can reach out to my team, or I'll be back on Monday." And she had people that were waiting on her. And she thought that it was either never going to happen, that she could grow her business and have a life and be present for her family and do the things she loved, or that it was going to take, years and years. And she was shocked that how quickly it happened, knowing that when she's got her energy, when she's in front of the right people all the time, they're coming to her. What it does is it lets her actually pick the people she's working with, because there's this universal truth that 80% of your profit's going to come from 20% of your people, and 64% of your profit's going to come from 4% of your people. The question is, are you reaching enough? She said that knowing that she's in front of enough people that she can pick. She doesn't work with the tire kicker. She doesn't work with people that drain her energy. So she's able to knock stuff out right away. And it was within, I remember just a matter of, I think it was like 8 weeks. Like, it was pretty quick. I didn't see her for a few weeks, and she hopped onto one of our calls and said, "I just wanted to hop on real quick and say, I don't know how you do it. I just call it the Charlie magic. I'm really busy and I'm going for a walk every day, and my life is amazing. I love you. Bye." And she got through that. So I think the thing that business owners are shocked that they didn't think was possible, because there's so many people out there that say the only way to win is to grind and eat no's for dinner. And I'm proud because I made 200 million thousand cold calls, and I'll show you how to do it too. And they're really shocked that there's actually a simple way that you can start tomorrow to get your life back, get your health back, actually grow your business profitably, and enjoy it. And a lot of business owners are shocked at how close you are if you just have just a couple right things in place.
What's one win a client had without doing something they assumed was necessary?
A lot of business owners, before we worked together, assumed the way to grow their business was to try to trick someone into raising their hand and then chasing them like a cat in heat. You got to run them down, hold them down, get them to buy. That it's, chase till you're exhausted, sleep for a while, recover from burnout, chase. I was actually talking to a client today, and she said she had 2 of her potential best clients reach out to her today and ask how she was doing, and kind of hinted at, hey, how can you help me? And when she said, hey, here's the next step, would you be interested? They're like, yeah, I would love that. So instead of chasing, she literally is implementing the referrals while you sleep plan. And instead of like what we say, the hunter has become the hunted. She got to provide an offer for them only if she wanted to. So I think my favorite clients are shocked, kind of like my friend Mark. He got a call out of the blue, and it was someone that he hadn't talked to for 5 years, was not in the person's database. He hadn't talked to, hadn't marketed to. The person called him out of the blue and says, "Hey, I think I need your services. Are you willing to help?" And the guy became a client. Closed, no pushback. A month later, referred his son, and like there was no chase. There was no I guess that's what they call it. The referrals while you sleep magic is, it's amazing what can happen when you've got the 3 T's. When you're top of mind, when you're the trusted authority, because that gives you the time to deliver a transformation that your clients want. And you get referrals while you sleep.
Love it. What's a lie or half-truth you see repeated in your industry?
So many business owners have been beaten up. I have too. That the secret to growth is you got to have this huge sales team, or you just need to spend, $10,000 a month on marketing to strangers, and that you've got to, grind. It's not about taking care of your current clients. It's about just growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. The business plan, November's coming up. People start doing their business plan. And when they sit down, they do their business plan. It's like they fill 40, 60, 80 hours of their life with just their business. I need to double next year. Versus, when I sit down and my business plan, it's a life plan. I view my life as a chessboard, and you've got this huge chessboard, and my business is a part of it. I've got health, I've got relationships, I've got hobbies. When I'm able to really put my business in the correct spot, and when I put in the right systems, and I can, put myself first, this idea that you've got to grind yourself to death. And the thing is, there's some people that love that. A lot of times I've seen those people don't have families, or they lost their families. That's not always true. But it happens a lot. My family is number one priority for me. My kids are the number one priority for me. One of my favorite sayings is, I saw Gary Vee, and if you ever want, it's turned into a song by this guy, Kira the Don. And he says, if you want to make less than you could, and you want to play Nintendo with your kids while they're still in the house, do it. You're not a loser. What you want. Your kids are going to grow up. They're going to go to college. They're going to do something else. I know I can make plenty of money now. I know that my time is fleeting with my kids at the current age. Literally, my kids are this age today. One of my kids, Coleman, he got a wiffle ball and bat, and he just came down and showed it to me. He said, "Are we going to play ball today?" Hell yeah, we're going to play ball today. You just got it in. He's only this age today. And so, for business owners, if you're surrounded by people that say, you got to 10x or die, or, it's all about your business, I want you to know, get quiet, find out what's in your heart. There's room for everything. And for me, my clients, we love our family. We love our kids. they are precious to me. They're number one. If you want to reach out to me, if I'm playing wiffle ball with Coleman, you'll have to wait. And here's what's fascinating. When you get a lead, you don't have to respond right away. When you've got the right positioning, your people will wait on you. The best brain surgeon, they don't respond to leads right away. You might have a 3-month wait. The best home builders, the best coaches, my coach, he works with, 2 people a year and it's 60,000 pounds. If you fit in. And so, you don't have to be on pins and needles. You don't have to put really the customer first, in that you have to jump when they say jump. You can have your life. In fact, the more you have your life, the better you'll be. And I think that's it.
Love it. What's one thing most people get wrong about your method or approach?
What is one thing that business owners get wrong about my method or approach? I think a lot of times I see people underestimate the power of Robert Cialdini's 8 Principles of Influence because they're so powerful, they're so subconscious, and they're so simple. I was talking to someone literally yesterday, and all that you've got to do is be consistent, show that you're similar to them, have social proof, have reciprocity, have authority, have scarcity. Like, how do you do that? And she looked at me and said, yeah, great. All that I have to do is do that all the time. How do I do that? And she was referred by a friend. I was like, well, that's referrals while you sleep. And what's amazing about referrals while you sleep is it's also a lot like, I don't know if you've ever heard the story of the Betty Crocker cake in a box. When they first made it, it would not sell. And they did research. Like, this is an amazing thing. It used to take hours to make a cake. You had to mix all these ingredients. You now have a cake in a box that you can make very effortless, very simple, and it tastes just as good. And what they saw was some people, they discounted it because it was too easy. So they came up with the break an egg strategy. And it still is there today. If you get cake in a box, they want you to crack 1 egg, put in there, and that let people feel comfortable because it wasn't too easy then. And so a lot of folks have underestimated how powerful just the consistent principles of influence hit the conscious and the subconscious, and how easy it is. And I think part of it's because there's so many business coaches out there that are coached because they're exhausted from their chase, or they just love the chase. And they say, you got to grind every day. You got to work 12 hours every 12 hours, and when you realize it can be simple when you're talking to the right people consistently. How do you spell love? You spell love with Time. It's over time. And when you're consistently giving, that's reciprocity. And it's in a way where it's you not chasing them, that's authority. And they see other people saying you're awesome, that's social proof. And they see it every day, that's consistently. And when you hear me talk about my kids or my clients, that's showing that we're similar. When all that happens, it really is that easy.
Love it.
Awesome.
That was the 5 questions. So yeah, I think there really is something magical about just flowing through those questions. it's a different kind of content. I like the idea of like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. You know what it is? Here's what it is. I like this is me live metaphoring. But this process feels like it feels like the 5-hour energy or an energy drink or just like taking, like a really strong cup of coffee, right? Where it's like it's a thing that's gonna like do the process quick, but it's not gonna sustain you, right? And so, but there's a place for it. Like there's a place and there's a usefulness, and like the rapid fire, just creating the content, creating those like the pieces that can become everything else that all the other top level content that you need. The portions of doing something more long form, 15, 30 minutes or longer, and having it as more of like a structured flow, it's more like actually getting 8 hours of sleep, or it's more like actually eating a nutritious, balanced diet that keeps you fueled throughout the day, right? That and like there are times where you kind of need both, right? And we're so it's interesting to me though, because like the early art, like all things being equal, you need something out there creating that demand, creating that interest. And I love how it makes this process flow easier to do that. And it's, done is better than perfect. And I think it'll be I'm really excited to continue doing this process and exploring, can we figure out the way to make the long form happen in like the 30-minute process and just like do it live, like do it live together. But
I think part of it too is, as we answer these questions, Referrals While I Sleep is going to be getting this context. Right. So in the future, as like it becomes more and more valuable, like I can ask, hey, is there a story that correlates with this current event? And now it knows about Mark, it knows about the wedding dress, it knows about the neighbor. As these things happen, it starts getting more and more valuable. Where possibly, we could have some AI avatars that are close to us. Like that's happening, but it's got to have our spark, and that's what these are getting at. This is creating that corpus of us and our stories, and like we are the citation.
Right. I love it. Well, yeah. So I think next week our plan. Do you want to continue through questions, or do you want to explore like we've done the questions? We kind of know what it would be like to just keep iterating on that. I think that would be useful and valuable. Or do we want to go down trying to create the 15 to 30 minute stuff?
Yeah, I think we want to try to create the 15 to 30 minute stuff.
Perfect.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say I have some ideas on how that works. I think with our escape and arrivals, it depends on how well documented they are. But I know for mine especially, I think what we could do is we could say essentially, and you ask the question like, what is which of these would be the most compelling to go to my audience of people that is seeking to ultimately solve this problem of the escape and arrival, right? Because it may not be the first step, it may not be the last step, it may be something in the middle, or it may be a subset, right? And then say from my escape and arrival or whatnot, lay out based on this template a good a good training where I could walk somebody through a powerful takeaway from this, and then probably same thing that I already do, right? Like you need like what's the core teaching, what's your who information, and then what's your offer. But I think that like I think with that we'll be able to powerfully do it, where we have all that ready to go. But yeah,
and I've got kind of some questions that I've got that we can answer, but I like your webinar format better.
Right.
And kind of the spreadsheet that I've got, the one thing that I noticed is the payoff or the details of like it talks that you do have to set the stage for the long form. Like that's part of the value is you set that, and then you got to have the transition to the offer. But the payoff, the teaching, the actually helping them get from where they are to where they want to be, you've really fleshed that out well. And so my question is, can we have something like this spreadsheet that I shared with you, and we do what we just did, but and it's kind of like what you do in the 8 hours, but can we shrink it down into like 12-minute rapid fire, close enough where like maybe it will take 2 sessions, like maybe one session is we rapid fire do that, and then the second session is we record it.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a way where we get there, because really, like, there's the core thing is always going to be around what's the transformation. You need some stuff to throw in there, like who am I? What's my credibility? What is the thing that I did? What was the results? How could you do it too? And then now you have a problem of like actually doing the next step, and how do you do the next step? So I think there is. I think the part that's hard that people miss is really the work of the escape and arrival, is really clearly documenting what is my process. But once you have that documented, it's really just flowing through it, right? So out of anything that I do, that's probably the biggest part that really makes a difference is being able to say, what is that process? Because if you have that process, you can adapt it into a 15-minute, an hour course, one-on-one consulting. You can adapt it into anything. It's just having the process makes a difference. So, but yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of fascinating when I think back to Strategic Coach, like a lot of what they talk about is documenting your unique process, or documenting your process and naming it uniquely.
Right.
And that's a gift to be able to do. But yeah, and the thing is, if you're successful, you do have a unique process.
Right.
Like even real estate agents, which is such a commodity. Like everybody's got their own unique way. A lot of financial advisors do Strategic Coach. Like in some ways, it's all pretty similar, but they are able to create like what is their unique process. Right. And then what does that do? Now you're an apple among oranges. You're unique. You can command because the truth is, we only want to work with the people that want to work with us. Like the smallest group of people that we can just knock their socks off of, so we can get more like them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I love it. Well, there we go.
I'm excited.
Let me throw this back on, because I think it's relevant, because we just got some shit done.
We got it done.
And I'm Zach Hammer. This is Charlie Madison. I think this one's in the bag. What do you think, Charlie?
I think so. Peace out, my bros.
Bye, everybody.